Welcome, everyone, to the 5th Annual Bald Move Awards, a.k.a. the Baldies. Or actually, maybe it's the 6th. We had our staff archivist go through, and apparently we did a top 10 television show of 2014 that we also did like a 2-hour deliberation thing on. It's tagged as the Baldies. Is it a Baldy?
Does it count? I don't know.
I don't know.
That's for the audience to decide.
But
The second 5th annual Baldies.
We've been doing some kind of, yeah, it is the second 5th annual Baldies. We've been some kind of roundup of entertainment for going on 6 years now. The pros of the Baldies, because there's all kinds of award shows out there. It's we just got out of award season. You got the Emmys, you got the Oscars, and they've got their charms, they've got their warts. The pros of the Baldies is it's just as valid as any other award for subjective appreciation of the arts and artists and entertainment. People seem to like us doing it. Always generates a lot of discussion and consternation. It's a fully transparent process. If you don't know why something did or did not win, you can watch the relevant deliberations video or listen to the resulting deliberations podcast. And you still might not agree, but we at least have all of our reasoning out there in the public facing. And it does, I think, also for better or worse, generate a snapshot of the year in popular culture. Throughout the year, I go back and refer to previous Baldies to see, how long has it been since the show's been on? What did I think of it? How were the performances? And it's a nice little kind of like measuring stick for that. Things like repeats, what kind of turnover we get, the average quality of a particular long-running show. All that kind of stuff is interesting. The cons of the Baldies are we can only judge what we've personally seen. Unlike some other award shows, which are popularity contests and people lobby and pay money, it's just what Jim and I have seen. Since we have a category called the Biggest Miss, which is going to be right up front, probably, or close to thereof, that implies we don't see everything. We do miss things. We're only human. We're only two people. We can only watch a certain amount of television. Our bodies can only hold a certain amount of pop culture. Comedy actors, since we don't have a best actor for comedy and drama, comedy actors tend to get screwed. And also pure comedies kind of get screwed by dramedies in the comedy category typically. And that's, I don't know why. That's like a real life bias. If something's funny and something's serious, I tend to take the serious thing more serious. But that's for me in my position of being here on this awesome stage with my fake tuxedo on. Also, this is the biggest flaw. Patrick Stewart is still declining to host. And now that he's got an active television show,
there's no chance.
We're never going to get him.
No.
Maybe his clone in the year 2045 will deign to host a Baldy. But until then,
we will try again next year, though.
Yeah.
We will ask every year.
We have, for the last several years, had a audience participation, a listener choice version of the award. So in many of these topics, we will give our opinion, but then we'll list side by side the listener choice award of that particular category and topic. So this year we had many Bald Move people participate in the votes. So we're excited to see, and this is for the first time. When we open up the envelope, there will be some genuine drama. Because number one, I think we picked these winners like 3 weeks ago, and some of them were. This was a tough year. This was a tough year at the tops of all the different drama and comedy categories because we saw a lot of excellent things, and I could see my mind changing a month, 2 months, 3 months from now. So I'm kind of interested to see what are in these envelopes, and also we had a producer for the first time this year go through and actually tabulate the user choice award, so the listener choice award. So I have no idea what y'all thought of these things. So let's find out together. To gather these gold envelopes together and find out what's inside of them. Jim, I believe you do have our first category, and I believe it is indeed the Biggest Miss.
It is indeed,
and this is again judged by, I think, purely the audience. We have no participation on this. This is you guys telling us which show or movie we blew it on. Which one did we should have been podcasting and we didn't? We're ready to take the lash.
Yeah, and I want to point out just right up front that these official envelopes are not sealed. And so the results are subject to some...
You're supposed to pantomime the tearing.
Oh, yeah.
This biggest miss envelope is specially designed to cut Jim as he opens it as a punishment for missing. And he's found a way to shortchange that.
Take this with a grain of salt. Here we go. Biggest miss category. I'm going to read them backwards from 5 to 1. The Walking Dead Season 10. Snuck through as number 5.
Did we miss that?
I don't know if you count that as a miss, considering we very much knew it was on. We very much decided intentionally not to cover it.
That's a snub.
Yeah, that's the biggest snub.
That arises to the level of a snub. Okay,
I think so.
yeah, we snubbed The Walking Dead, snubbed it right out.
Here's where the biggest misses actually happen. Number 4, Mindhunter, Season 2. So this is the serial killer psychology show on Netflix.
I think I saw the first episode of the first season and was like, nah, not for me.
Yeah, I did the same.
Not a bad... No, I'm not saying it's a bad show. Just saying it wasn't for me.
We're back to... I don't know that you can count this as a miss. Number 3, The Mandalorian. We did do coverage of this. We did multiple episodes of coverage in Bald Move TV. I would not count it as a biggest miss.
But I can see people like wanting us to do full... Although I am somewhat surprised that people saw the entire series and thought that episode by episode coverage would like improve their experience.
Yeah, I would think so.
It didn't feel like a kind of show you needed a lot of discussion or debate around, but hey, it's cute. Baby Yoda's cool. Mandalorian's neat.
Almost coming in at the top here. Again, one I would not call a biggest miss. The Expanse, Season 4. We did multiple episodes of coverage of that.
I'm on the listener side. I don't know what we could have done differently because, again, this thing debuted 15 minutes before Christmas, and we were already wheels up with Santa Claus there. I hope that they did whatever internal metrics and crunching they did to decide that maybe next year they'll... Again, I think there's daylight between a pure binge experience like the Expanse and maybe like a 2 a week. Or like maybe start off with 3 and then a once a week or something. But like I hope they give us more time to do episode by episode coverage because those binge models are rough for us.
They are. And then the number 1, which I think everyone knew ahead of time what number 1 would be on this list. Biggest miss of 2019, Succession, Season 2.
In the books. Biggest miss. What do we say about Succession?
It's a show that I binge watched Season 1 after watching the first episode and stopping because it wasn't my cup of tea.
Yeah.
I got through Season 1 and I thought, I see why people like this. This is not a show that I want to talk about at any length.
And it's one of those things where I feel like the more I defend my choice not to watch the show, just the angrier people get.
I get it. It's good. It's good if you like that kind of thing. I'm not the walk and talk Sorkin kind of guy for the most part.
And I get it's not, even though it's billed as a comedy, a dark comedy, its genre is comedy, it's not really a comedy. I'm familiar with the concept of dramedies. I don't, and a lot of people I respect love this show. Like almost every critic, tons of long-term Bald Move fans. It's just... Yeah, like it'd be one thing if Jim had watched it and like the season 1's like, oh my god, you got to get on this. But like, you know, I have a natural bias against it. My best friend sees it and goes, meh. You got to make some choices. I think it might be the biggest miss for years to come.
It could be. I'm glad something like Glow Season 3 was not on there because I would have really been kicking myself about
I'm kind of
not
shocked
watching
Dark.
That.
Because like I've gotten into Dark, and Dark is the exact type of show that I think would suit like episode by episode coverage, and like because it's a huge mystery box. There's like 5-6 different timelines with different versions of the characters, all different ages. It's in a foreign language, which is for extra fun for trying to keep track of people's names and details. Kind of shocked it didn't make the top 5.
We missed the round of clapping that comes with the
as
announcement
big as
of a
missing
winner.
needs is raucous booze. We just need raucous booze, but we'll try to get the clapping from this point forward.
Yeah.
Next
up is Best Documentary.
Oh boy,
we saw a lot of documentaries this year.
We did. This category is one of those submarine categories. Sometimes it comes up and shoots off a couple torpedoes. Sometimes you just, where is it? It's a hole in the ocean. Yeah. We saw a lot of documentaries this year. What did we think?
Let me get this.
The suspense is literally
killing me. We got to put in the
me.
sound of an envelope opening because,
I mean, I'm gonna simulate it. Watch, it's gonna be amazing.
All right, we've got 2 sort of categories within this category, subcategories, if you will, within Best Documentary. There's the Bald Move nominated one, and there's the Community nominated one. And you'll see this pattern in many categories to come. I'm going to start with Bald Move, and we'll get to the Community. Number 5, Edge of Democracy.
All right, that's the one about the collapse of democracy in Brazil, right?
Yes, I believe so. Number 4, Ice on Fire. That's the collapse of our ecosystem.
Produced by Leonardo DiCaprio.
Number 3, Lorena. That's the collapse of a penis.
Yeah, yeah.
Number 2, Leaving Neverland. I got no collapse for that.
Yeah, you better watch it. You're on shaky
can't.
grounds with a penis, man.
Yeah. And the winner of the best documentary of 2019 for Bald Move is This Giant Beast That Is a Global Economy. Kind of cheating here because it was a docuseries.
Yeah, yeah. But I gotta say, I learned the most from that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that I had kind of suspected from my various kind of like biases and the things I've seen over the past few years, and I really thought this was a great job doing a pretty deep dive and covering a lot, like a real starting point for understanding what's going on at tax havens, what's going on with cryptocurrency, how do we make money, what does money mean, should we go back to the gold standard? There's great starting points for all those conversations, and it's great. I think everyone should see it.
Held your hand through those explorations of those topics in a way that I appreciated.
Do we have listener choice on that? Or
we do. Community choices were very, very different for the most part. Number 5, Muhammad Ali, What's My Name?
All right.
6% of the vote. Yeah, and we talked about that one. It's something that we've seen a lot of.
I think our
already.
familiarity with the topic kind of works against, because I'm biased towards learning things on a documentary. So
people not getting enough of the first season of Serial. Number 4, The Case Against Adnan Syed, 7% of the vote. Number 3, Conversations with a Killer, the Ted Bundy tapes, with 10% of the vote. Number 2, Leaving Neverland, matching up with the Bald Move pick.
There
Leaving
you go.
Neverland,
finally
number 2.
got synced up.
21% of the vote. And finally, the community pick for best documentary of 2019, Fire on Netflix with 27% of the vote.
Oh boy, that's populist candidate got that one.
Oh yeah.
Way to go. Congratulations, Fire, and to all of our winners. Let's move on to the biggest surprise. So biggest surprise is just that. It's the thing that took me and Jim either off guard, we didn't see it coming, came out of nowhere, or something that we thought would be terrible and wasn't. I don't think the reverse probably goes into bigger disappointment, which will come later. But biggest surprise for 2019. Let's see. See how well I simulated the sound of paper being ripped? All right. Biggest surprise. Number 1, or wait, let's start at the bottom. Number 5, The Mandalorian.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know what
big surprise.
It was a surprise in many different ways. Let's just read it, right?
Okay.
Umbrella Academy number 4, The Witcher at number 3, The Boys at number 2, and number 1, a funky little Korean folktale about feudal zombies. Kingdom number 1.
Right.
Biggest surprise 2019. What a category, what a winner. Like I said, if you want to get deep dives at all this, we have by category, exhaustive. We recorded our entire process of deliberating this. But Mandalorian, like I said, was shocking because we thought it was going to be a hard-hitting, seedy, darker side of Star Wars, and it was a warm, fuzzy celebration of Baby Yoda.
Yeah.
So that was interesting. Umbrella Academy, we went in expecting some just generic cape shit, and what we got was a really cool kind of deconstruction of like the X-Men mythos.
Yeah, very stylish.
Yeah, very cool. The Witcher, which is something that is unique in that only one of us saw it. This is essentially the most successful video game adaptation I've ever seen.
Yeah.
People are going apeshit about Sonic, a little skeptical about this weekend, but The Witcher is gold. And The Boys is like Watchmen. It's a superhero deconstruction, but a different one.
Yeah.
This is like, what if superheroes were real and as popular as they are in popular culture and all irredeemably evil?
Yeah.
Almost to a man. And then Kingdom, like just when I thought you couldn't say anything new about zombies, they had a new take on zombies, a slightly different, some tweaks to the zombie mechanics, and again, seeing this through the lens of like, honestly seeing like a King Arthur medieval zombie pick would have been a breath of fresh air, but this is like set in feudal Korea. Are you kidding me?
The hats are twice as good
Yeah.
as what you would have gotten medieval.
If you want to
Britain.
see like costumes straight out of Final Fantasy,
Yeah.
hit up the Kingdom. I can't wait for season 2. It's got to be getting close.
It's getting very close, yeah.
So
got a
that'll
date.
be exciting. Next, one of our first of our really big categories, best comedy. I watch a lot of comedies.
Okay.
I like to laugh.
Watched a few comedies.
2019 had a lot of good ones. Let's open up the envelope and see what's inside.
Not quite as
not
good
not quite as good that
Okay.
time. Best comedy, coming at number 5, Good Omens.
Okay.
Number 4, Russian Doll. Number 3, Los Espookes. 2, Barry season 2, and number 1, Fleabag season 2. What
All
an
right.
amazing
Yeah. That's a good pick if I do say so myself.
Phoebe Waller-Bridge with the win, taking home Baldy's Gold for the first time.
Yeah.
Amazing. Do you want to talk about this? So, Good Omens. It's Terry Pratchett, Neil Gaiman.
Uh-huh. With what's his name
Yep.
and what's his name?
Yep,
You know
those
them
guys.
both.
You know them. It's a demon and an angel.
Yeah, David Tennant and Michael Sheen.
Colluding to be lazy on Earth during the
Yeah.
apocalypse. I like it. Russian Doll was the first time-traveling curse kind of comedy I've ever seen of its type.
Yeah.
And stars
it
like
has the bones of a Groundhog Day, but
yeah, and it kind of like Groundhog Day, it lives and dies on the strength of its lead, and Natasha Lyonne is
Yeah.
a really good comedic presence. Los Espookes,
so weird, so fun.
yeah, and it was great for that time of year, kind of like late in the year, like the kind of the fall. It's kind of spooky season. If you haven't seen it, you should at least try it. It's such a weird, specific thing. And Barry season 2, I mean, this is an amazing, incredible, like soul-searing show. It's fucked up. It's funny. It's got a lot of interesting things to say about like the nature of good and evil and post-traumatic stress in soldiers. But ultimately, it couldn't overcome the novelty and sheer joy I got out of Fleabag. And the way Fleabag season 2 ends, such a remarkable payoff to the first-person, fourth wall shattering kind of relationship we have with the titular Fleabag. It's great. It's great comedy. It's was that on Amazon? Yeah, it's on Amazon. Amazon original. For our community, for our listener write-ins, or listener awards, we have Schitt's Creek with 6% at number 5.
Huh.
Man, the Schitt's Creek people tried to assassinate me. We had The Good Place season 3 with 8%, which I'm kind of shocked that wasn't higher.
Yeah.
Rick and Morty season 4 at 9%, respectable. And here we go. We are in full sync and at 1 with the Bald Move community.
Right.
Barry season 2 at 13%, and Fleabag atop with season 2 at 24%.
Oh yeah.
Good job, everybody. I like it. You love to see it. You love to see when we're united as one. And congratulations to all of our Listener Choice Award winners, which were the same in this case. I think it's time for you to open up some envelopes now, sir.
Yeah. I believe this is going to be biggest disappointment. Yeah. I'm looking at biggest disappointment envelope. My biggest disappointment is this envelope is opened. All right. Here we go. Let's see what the biggest disappointment is. So this is stuff that we were very hyped for going into it, and it did not live up to expectations.
Did not in any shape or form.
And crucially, things that we watched.
Yes.
Because
Can't be disappointed in something you don't see.
Number 5, Glass. And this is apparently a mix of movies and television.
This is big a disappointment.
Yeah.
It's bigger than one class of media.
Number 4, Harlots, season 3. This is All You're Doing. I haven't seen Harlots. Another one that's All You're Doing, American Gods, season 2. Sounds like you watched a lot of television that I narrowly avoided.
Yeah, I'm really questioning my life's decisions and choices that led me here.
Number 2, Star Wars, The Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, that I feel that one.
Yeah. And the big loser here in this category. I think everybody knows already what it is. Game of Thrones, season 8. Congratulations, Double D's.
Yeah.
You made the biggest disappointment of 2019.
I mean, this is the largest show we've ever covered, and we've had a lot of big shows on Bald Move.
Yeah.
Had a lot of success. I've never seen this high profile. Like, we've always wondered what would happen. Like, what, like, is it Breaking Bad going to stick the landing?
Mm-hmm.
Is Mad Men going to stick the landing? Is, Leftovers going to stick the landing? I've never seen a landing where both knees blow out, femurs shoot out through the shoulders, and you suffer a total scrotal collapse in a final season. Like, it wasn't fun. It really wasn't fun. It's something that's still being talked about. Like, it's like the tire fire on Simpsons. It's been burning for 20 years. It's like a marvel.
And it's going to haunt whatever they do next in the universe of Game of Thrones.
Yeah, like it already destroyed their burgeoning Star Wars career before it began. They had a trilogy earmarked, and they got that yoinked by the big mouse. They still have a $200 million Netflix deal.
Yeah.
But yeah, like they are going to be hounded by this until they do something good and finish it good.
And HBO will too.
Yeah.
It's just not their record that's tainted.
I mean, it also killed a prequel in its infancy. Like, we're still going to get a spinoff. Like, it's a full on debacle. And it's amazing that it's just historically bad, because Star Wars, the runner up, some people liked it. I think many people didn't. But whether you liked it or not, I think it's disappointing that we didn't get a Star Wars that everyone could just love.
Yeah.
The way we kind of did the original series, and even the way, like, it's interesting to me to see how many kids have grown up with the prequel series and they love it like we did the original trilogy. Yeah. I don't know that will happen with this.
I don't hate episode 3.
Yeah, this one just swerves, it just violently swerves from 7, 8 to 9, and I don't know. People are still making YouTube deep dive series on it. It's going to be a wonderment for years to come. But yeah, Game of Thrones. Really blew the biggest disappointment away on that.
Yeah. All right. Next up, category of best female actor.
Yeah, let's get to the excellence again.
Yeah.
Get our mouth rinsed out.
This is a big one.
Palate cleanser.
This is a big one. Here we go. We have a bald move pick and we have a community pick.
And again, I'll remind you, these are only from the things that we've seen.
Correct. Start at number 5 with bald moves picks. Phoebe Waller-Bridge as Fleabag in Fleabag Season 2. Number 4, Emily Mead as Laurie Madison in The Deuce Season 3. Number 3, Regina King as Angela Abar in Watchmen. Number 2, Carmody Jogo as Amelia Reardon in True Detective Season 3. And the winner of this year's Best Female Actor Baldy, Maggie Gyllenhaal as EILEEN Candy Merrill in The Deuce Season 3.
Amazing performance and a great body of work. Like, the 3 seasons of The Deuce were just a clinic in acting, top to bottom, and this was a really strong year. Miss King, of course, won, I think, 2 Baldies for her work on, or two or 3 Baldies ago for her work on The Leftovers.
Yep.
We just had a really stacked, and this also shows the bias against comedy, because Phoebe Waller-Bridge had one of the best performances in a comedy I've ever seen, and she barely cracked the top 5. So, good category. What did the listeners think? I'm curious.
Listeners had a lot of different takes here.
Oh boy.
Nothing matches up with our picks.
Awesome.
So at number 5, the community pick is Carly Chaikin as Darlene Anderson from Mr. Robot Season 4.
Sure, yeah.
5% of the vote. I thought she did an excellent job, and she was definitely on our list.
I think in the top 10 even.
Yeah. Number 4, Darcy Carden as Janet in The Good Place Season 4 with 6% of the vote.
Yep. She also, she put on a clinic in Season 4, because that I think wasn't Season 4 the episode where she had to play all the cast?
I think it was.
As her, versions
stellar.
of her.
Yeah.
Really, really nice work.
Number 3 is our number 1, Maggie Gyllenhaal.
All right.
EILEEN Candy Merrill from Season 3. Number 2, Phoebe Waller-Bridge as Fleabag from Fleabag Season 2.
The listeners do not have our anti-comedy bias, Jim.
They do not. And they also really loved, at number 1, Regina King as Angela Abar from Watchmen.
Hey, I give some applause for the listener's choice there, because she did excellent work. That episode where she goes back and relives her grandfather's memories is amazing.
Yeah, she raked in a full third of the vote, 33%.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
In
That's amazing.
A big field.
Yeah. Go listen to our deliberations if you want to see us talking about all the talented women that were in the television arena That's the other thing about these actors is they're only for television. We don't consider movie stuff. It's weird, but hey, it's the Baldies. Next up, best debut / pilot. So this is a little nebulous, but it's essentially think about like how great the pilot episode of Breaking Bad was, or think about like how amazing the first season in its totality of The Leftovers is. This is the first. This is it can be an amazing pilot, or it can be just an amazing first outing, your freshman outing in a television series. That's what we're going for here. And oh man, opened up this fully sealed envelope.
Oh boy.
All the secrecy intact. The ballot didn't make it unscathed. Best debut pilot, number 1. Oh wait, let's start at the bottom. Number 5, The Boys on Amazon. 4, The Witcher on Netflix. 3, Good Omens on Amazon. 2, Kingdom on Netflix, and number 1, Watchmen on HBO.
All right.
Watchmen, congratulations. Took home the big blue egg. So let's talk about this. The Boys, I wasn't expecting anything from this. I wasn't familiar with the comic book. I thought, what little I knew, I saw the costumes. I thought they looked kind of hokey, but this really has a lot of interesting things they talk about, like kind of like politics and geopolitics through a superhero lens. And it's just really gruesome shit. And like stuff I didn't even know that I needed to see, like Fight with an Invisible Man.
Yeah.
That's one of the most metal things I've ever seen. The Witcher, again, it's amazing something this schlocky is this high, but it knows what it is. It executes that thing at a very high level, and that's what you need to do to take home Baldy Gold. Good Omens, it's a great comedy.
It's so much fun. Yeah,
it's got a lot of interesting things to say about spirituality. Liked it. We've already talked about the Kingdom a lot. Just really bowled me over. And then Watchmen was nothing like I was expecting, but it was so much better than I thought it could be. And it just really nailed Lindelof's goal of making something that would be as original as the original Watchmen. Yet you're trying to do a follow-up. So
yeah, we didn't have a biggest risk, biggest reward category this year, or enough to fill that out, but this would have been in it. This would have been number 1 with the bullet.
Nobody, least of all its creator, was asking for a follow-up to the Watchmen, and they did it, and they did it at a very high profile, and everyone knew that people would be watching for Lindelof's next, and he killed it. The listener choice at number 5, Russian Doll.
Okay.
With 5% of the vote. Witcher, I was actually surprised it wasn't a little bit higher at 9%. The Boys at 12%. The Mandalorian at 13%. And then with a whopping 51% of the community vote, Watchmen.
Okay.
Congratulations, Watchmen. And again, another opportunity to have us and the viewers be in sync. Done with that. Is it still my turn to go? Yes. Really get into the big prestige categories. We've already had the best female actor. It's time for best male actor of the Baldies 2019. Let's just tear open this envelope.
Is Paul Giamatti eligible?
I don't think so.
Damn.
I don't think so. Maybe next year. Okay, at number 5, B.D. Wong as the mysterious White Rose in Mr. Robot Season 4.
Wow, only number 5. There must be just a murderer's row of talent at the top.
James Franco, an impressive dual role as Vincent and Frankie Martino in the DEUCE Season 3. Bill Hader as Barry Berkman from Barry Season 2 on HBO. Mahershala Ali as Wayne Hayes from True Detective in Season 3. And the number 1 Best Actor 2019 in a series. Rami Malek as Elliot Anderson in Mr. Robot Season 4. Give it up.
All right.
For the enormous eyes.
He saved the best for last.
Enormously expressive eyes of Rami Malek.
He won the Oscar in Season 1, and he saved the Baldy for Season 4.
He's done good work the entire season, but he was given a lot of raw meat and raw material to work with. Mr. Robot is one of those series that I was kind of like really like, boy, it's all gonna come down to how they wrap it up. And they wrapped it up in a way that I think a lot of people weren't expecting, but one that I found ultimately satisfying. And also, not every day you get a showrunner saying, hey, I got all this planned out from the beginning. And it turns out to be true.
Yeah.
Like 99% true. Like there's some shit in season 1 that paid off so beautifully in season 4. And, watching Rami go through that was a big part of that. BD Wong is the shadowy counterpart of that, doing excellent work as another dual role. He plays the White Rose, the female leader of the evil hacker army, as well as, was it
Minister
Zhang.
Yeah.
So that was really good. And then, like I said, we talked a lot about James Franco and the deliberations, what they do. Like, you just stop thinking of them as being, I don't even see James Franco doing a technical trick when he's acting with himself.
Yeah.
And he's got just amazing, really emotional work he's doing there. Again, with who is he acting with?
Paul Giamatti.
Paul Giamatti is the stand-in,
suit.
in the green screen suit, of course. Bill Hader is amazing, and Barry Berkman, and also Mahershala Ali playing multiple timelines. Old man Ali, young gun Ali, has really, really amazing chemistry with his co-stars. A great performance. Let's talk about the listener choice. Also, really big fan of BD Wong as White Rose, 5% at number 5. Bill Hader as Barry Berkman, with Barry racking up 6% of the Baldy vote. Jared Harris as Valery Legosov from Chernobyl with 19%. Of course, a couple of Baldies back, he really cleaned up the Baldies with his work on the Terror. Rami Malek with 20%, number 2, but Mahershala Ali cannot be denied as Wayne Hayes in True Detective Season 3. 21%, narrowly edging out. There's only 1% difference between those top 3 there.
Wow.
So really amazing, and congratulations, Mahershala. A well-deserved win. And I think at that point, it's back to you, Jim.
It is. We've got up next the best bald movie, and I say bald movie because it's movies that we watched and covered. It's not everything we saw.
There's a lot of daylight between this and the Oscars, I think.
Oh, I imagine so.
Yeah.
There were several Oscar-worthy movies that we didn't see until later in the year.
And I think this is the one where we kind of insisted we both had to watch, like maybe, I don't know. We'll go watch the deliberations.
It could be. Okay, there is a bald move category and a community subcategory as well. And let's get right to it. With bald move, our number 5 was Joker. Our number 4... Spider-Man: Far From Home. Oh boy. Our number 3, Avengers: Endgame. You've got a lot of comic book movies.
A lot of cape shit in this. You don't see that at the Oscars.
Absolutely. However, the serious dramas could not be denied. Number 2, Deadwood, the movie.
Wow, a televised movie.
Yeah.
Shock.
A perfect capper to.
You definitely don't see that at the Oscar.
You do not. Number 1, the best bald movie of 2019. A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, the Mr. Rogers documentary.
That's
documentary.
That almost could have been a bigger surprise too, because I was expecting a biopic about Fred Rogers, and what I got was a pretty accurate to a newspaper journalist experience of what it was like to get to know Mr. Rogers.
Yeah,
which is a subtle difference, but. There's a lot of things they do in that movie that shouldn't work, but they do because, number 1, Tom Hanks is amazing. Number 2, Fred Rogers is a saint.
Yeah.
So a good best picture, I think.
I think so. Let's see if the community agrees with us.
Let's see.
We got number 5, Knives Out with 6%. Pretty strong pick. I saw that after the year had ended, and so it didn't get included.
That's a cheat. That wasn't a bald movie, but
it was not.
We both saw it. We both liked it. It might have swayed things differently if we'd have both seen it before 2020.
Could have been. Number 4, Joker with 11%.
There you go. All right.
Number 3, El Camino, a Breaking Bad movie. Did not make our top 5, although I remember it being very high up there. Just
another televised movie. All right.
Not quite sneaking in. Number 2, Parasite with 16% of the vote.
Excellent. Yeah, that's who I was wanting to win the Oscars, and it did. And I'm really proud of the listeners for putting it at number 2.
And number 1, Avengers Endgame with 18%. The Cape Shit movie wins.
Cape Shit for now, Cape Shit forever. And it's a good one. It's a good one. It's not every day you get a comic book movie that stands on the shoulders of 10 years of plot and character development, and it doesn't have a false note in its runtime. So well done, Avengers. You assembled for the last time, and you took home Baldy Gold.
I've got one more category for you here.
All right.
On my side of the fence. It's the best bald moment is what we're calling it.
So describe this category.
So this is, of all the things that happened in the Bald Move ecosphere in 2019, this is a listener-voted category for the best moment, the one they enjoyed the most.
Yep. We had no say in this.
As a matter of fact, I haven't even seen this list yet.
We had our own thoughts. We cleaned it up a bit, but I have no idea who won or what won. Who, what, where, when.
Or why it won?
Or why.
We know why it won.
Well, we might have to explain it because there's going to be a lot of unconnected concepts and ideas coming at you.
All right, explain this one because I genuinely don't remember it.
Oh, shit.
Number 5, Game of Thrones, Jim's meltdown over the Bells episode on the Instant Cast. I mean, I know it was a bad episode, but I don't remember the specific meltdown.
I don't either, but it was probably epic.
Probably, I'm going to guess.
You got a character who's wanted something for literally the entirety of her character arc. She gets it. And, of course, when she gets the thing she wants, that's when you go batshit and turn evil.
Right.
It's like in the Revenge of the Sith, if Anakin Skywalker had resurrected Padme and attained immortal life for her, then he turned, and the Jedi had helped him. Then he turns to the Sith.
Goes and kills the younglings.
Yeah. It's like you fucked up your cause and effect, Double D's. What the fuck? Yeah,
it was not great. Number 4, also from Game of Thrones, A.Ron saying HBO should sue the Double D's for showrunner malpractice.
I'm kind of shocked those aren't higher because I remember that rant and that was like, I think that you could argue that Double D's, as much money as they've made HBO over the years, probably cost them in the hundreds of millions of dollars for future revenue.
I think so.
Now, they generated billions for them, so it's like one of those things, but still, what the fuck? All right. Good moment.
These are all very close in percentages. The first one was 7. This is 8. Number 3 is the Groundhog Day 2019 Star Wars Marathon, where Mark Hamill salutes Jim and A.Ron via Twitter with 9% of the vote.
I appreciated getting that tweeted. That was a great moment. That was probably the highlight of my year. That whole I love the marathons we do, the charity marathons. They've been a lot of fun. And boy, having Luke Skywalker himself give you a literal salute via tweet.
Yeah, it was a fantastic moment, followed by what I think is another fantastic moment where in the confusion and the chaos of Mark Hamill retweeting us, you accidentally put the computer that was streaming our live stream to sleep.
Yep.
Thereby shutting down the stream temporarily.
Yep.
At what could have been the pivotal Bald Move moment. It could have taken us from small podcasting operation to Mark Hamill's best friend.
Yep. As thousands of people were streaming in from his, I shut her down, because I hit function F4 instead of Alt F4. Instead of closing a window, I shut the whole thing down.
It's one of those moments that you look back on and you just have to laugh.
I still feel like my cheeks are getting warm just remembering about it.
It was a beautiful thing. That was 9% of the vote. Number 2, Game of Thrones declaring #fan bankruptcy at 11% of the vote.
So that is something that I got on really early. It's like, you know what? We had a lot of expectations for this season, had so many theories. We've all read the books. I wrote 2 books on deep dives into its religion and its themes. Let's just forget about that. We're broke. Let's just declare bankruptcy and try to enjoy. And even then, imagine if we hadn't declared fan bankruptcy. You think a podcast is toxic? Well,
yeah, would have been bad. Number 1 is a little suspect considering who compiled these lists, but number 1 is Bald Move hires Cecily with
3.7% of the vote. What? How did this happen?
25% of the vote.
We're gonna have to.
It's a popular option.
We have to fire the clearinghouse who compiled these votes. That happened. Cecily joined us full time this last year and has been producing all of our behind the scenes stuff and single handedly getting our video. Putting us on the map on the videos on YouTube. So it's I'm thrilled to see her recognized by the fans.
Yeah.
So congratulations to Cecily for getting 25% with a bullet. Was that? Are we down to the most prestigious?
We sure are.
Prestigious category of all. This is the best drama. This is why we started podcasting, Jim, to talk about these here prestige dramas. And I got in my hand a gold envelope that has the winner.
Tear it open.
2019, 5th or 6th annual. All right. Best drama. At number 5, Chernobyl.
Okay.
Number 4, The Deuce Season 3. Number 3, The Expanse Season 4. Number 2, Mr. Robot Season 4. And at the number 1 spot, The Watchmen. Or just Watchmen. Amazing job. Lindelof, you brought it in. You brought it home. You exceeded my very high expectations. It was for me a pure joy. I think you had a moment of existential despair.
I had some reservations. I think this and Mr. Robot, which were on at the same time, were neck and neck in my mind. And I honestly might have given Mr. Robot the nudge, but I think it was definitely worthy for the importance of what it was doing. Mr. Robot is doing something I think is fundamentally, currently, less important than what Watchmen is attempting, and so I think it got the win for that. Yeah,
when Ozymandias is fishing for fetuses in the pond out back, and some of the major characters hooked up to an elephant dream machine. Jim almost tapped out, but he stuck around, and aren't we glad, because I got the number 1 spot on the best drama. Now let's talk about the listeners, the community reaction. Succession, Season 2, 8% of the vote. The Expanse Season 4, 9% of the vote. Mr. Robot Season 4 with 11% of the vote. Watchmen, its first and maybe only season, 15%. And then at the top, with a whopping 25%, 1 out of 4 listeners, Chernobyl.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, and the thing is, I imagine the less you knew about the Chernobyl disaster, the better it is. I knew a lot about Chernobyl. It's something I've been fascinated with for a long time, as we talked about on the podcast. But it is great performance. It's an interesting piece of human drama. It's a nice snapshot of history. It got a lot of interesting political and sociological commentary going on the podcast. I really enjoyed doing it. Man, can't wait for Season 2.
Yeah. We'll see.
But congratulations to all our winners of Best Drama. Thanks, everybody, for your participation in the surveys. I know we had 2 surveys out because we goofed up on one of the initial surveys. So thanks for sticking with us, having your voice heard, and participating in the 6th or 5th annual Baldies. We'll get this figured out for the 6th or 7th next year. But thanks for showing up. We're looking forward to seeing how 2020 can exceed, be even better than this very tough, loaded slate of entertainment that we watched in 2019. But of course, until then, I'm A.Ron.
I'm Jim.
Thanks for coming tonight. Tip your waitresses. Make sure you don't leave any cell phones or fur coats or anything in your seats when you clear out of the auditorium.
Because we will take them inside.
We'll use the financial operations. Good night.